Hey guys, it's Peyton, and today I am going to be presenting a, I think, 11 slide PowerPoint on why Peeta is better than Gale. Not only do I think Peeta is a better match for Katniss in general, I just don't think Gale is better than Peeta, and I know there's a lot of people that disagree out there. But I also want to make a disclaimer that this video is just supposed to be super fun. I'm really excited about the release of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which comes out in 3 days at the time of filming this. I know they're not going to be in that book, but I'm still forever talking about these characters. I'm a Hunger Games fanatic. I've read the first book 4 times, the other 2 3 times. I have a whole Hunger Games read along. Like, I love the Hunger Games. I have a shelf dedicated to it. Ignore this part. I took out all the movies. So it's kind of a mess right now. If you're a Gale stan, more power to you. It's your opinion, it's your thing. I don't care. It's just a book. I know I love my characters and I will stand by my opinion on them, but I can't tell you you're incorrect because it's your personal opinion. So yeah, definitely don't take this as an attack. This is supposed to be lighthearted. I made this PowerPoint completely unplanned. This ended up being a thing. Me and my boyfriend are bored. He's in the army, so he is away from me. I'm literally about to see him in a week. It's been 3 months since I've seen him. Oh my god. But we decided it'd be fun to give us 30 minutes each and make a PowerPoint about something we're passionate about, not tell each other what it is, and then present it to each other. And my topic of choice was Peeta being better than Gale and my reasons for it. So honestly, this PowerPoint is quite a mess. I literally did not have any freaking planning for it, and I did later add more stuff after I did my Mockingjay reread, but yes, I'm just letting you know, this is not a very organized thing, and I just want to go ahead and get into it because I think it's hilarious and something to have fun with. Peeta? Oh, that's not Peeta. Peeta is better than Gale. I even pulled out my magazine. He's just better. Oh my god, and there's Finnick. Now that is a different story. We loved some Finnick. This is going to be a dramatic reading. I am going to go through my points. There's a lot of jumbled words. It's a mess. It truly is. But I think my points are freaking solid, so I'm gonna let you know. I posted this on Twitter a while ago that I made this, and people really wanted to see it, and this is the perfect time. Why Peeta is better than Gale by Peyton reads. Over here we have a cute little picture of Peeta. Honestly guys, I've had a crush on Josh Hutcherson since I was little, before he even played Peeta, so it just adds to it for me because I've always had a crush on him and my boyfriend literally looks like him. So first slide is called A List of Peeta's Many Great Moments, completely unorganized, completely out of order, and just here. But we're gonna get into it. It's juicy information, and I just have to discuss it. Point number 1, Peeta gave her the bread, even though he would get beat up by his mama. So this is a very obvious point. We love him for giving Katniss the bread when her and her family were starving. He literally burnt it on purpose so he could throw it to her, and his mom beat him up for it. We love a kind soul, and he is a kind soul. He is selfless when it comes to just about everyone, especially regarding Katniss. He isn't just nice to Katniss. He is kind to pretty much everybody. Literally, we can't forget when that tribute in Catching Fire freaking sacrificed herself for him, and he just held her and told her to look at the sky and the beautiful colors, and he was just so sweet. He is a good person, and I will stand behind. He is a master of speech. He can manipulate a crowd, the capital people, I spelled that wrong I think, but whatever, to protect those he loves. Cough, cough! Katniss! He loves Katniss. I don't think people give him enough credit for how freaking master manipulation of words this boy is. He wins over the crowd. Nobody really likes Katniss other than for the volunteering thing. That's obviously great. But the whole thing about the games, as Haymitch was telling them, that you need to get the crowd to like you, and Katniss was not really good at doing that. And Peeta was the man who literally, no, he is not the brute strength, though he is strong, but he's not a warrior. He is a freaking master manipulator, and I respect it. He just knows how to win over a crowd and get them on his side. Always, every freaking interview he ever gets, he is just fabulous. We are all shocked to this day every time he's like, if it weren't for the baby. He carried the locket in Catching Fire, even with Gale's picture in it, because he is just that selfless. Gale could never if the situation's reverse. Peeta had a locket with all the pictures of her family, her mom, her sister, and Gale. He knew she loves Gale, and I just genuinely don't think Gale would have shown Katniss a picture of Peeta because he was just so freaking caught up on the romance thing. Like, he wanted to be the final man, and Peeta literally would just focus more on the friendship and be like, you know, I know you love him, so I have to acknowledge that, and he is gonna help you get through it. Blah, blah, blah. My dog needs to stop. He manipulated the careers. Macy, what the frick? You're still in here? Dang, I opened the door for my dog and she like was still in here. Like, what the frick? She didn't take her moment. He manipulated the careers, pretending he was on their side so he could keep Katniss safe. This nearly cost him his life. Imagine how freaking scary it was when the careers found him in the games and was like probably about to kill him. And he's like, yo, 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 hold up. I think I know where she is. But he's not actually trying to lead them to her. No, he's trying to do the opposite. He's manipulating them because he's a smart boy and he knows what he's freaking doing. So, okay? He always values Katniss' survival more than his. I think this is just like such a soft boy thing. He just undervalued his life for some reason. It made me really sad because he always felt like nobody cared about him, his family. He wasn't really close to his family. This one just breaks my heart, okay? This point hurts. He didn't want to be a piece in their games. He didn't want the games to change the person he truly is. I love the line all about like, I don't want to be a piece in their games. He did not want to be changed by the experience. Like, he was aware that he would probably have to kill people, but he did not want his core values to be gone because of these people. He was unwilling to let them change him like that. He didn't want Katniss to risk her life for him even though he would die without the medicine from the feast. She literally had to knock him out with sleep syrup because she knew he would never in a million years let her risk himself for him. Or let her risk herself for him. Literally typo. We love typos. Okay. If you remember, Peeta had a really bad wound in his leg and there was an opportunity the Capitol created where there was a feast in the middle of cornucopia and the medicine that would help his leg would probably be in there. And Katniss was gonna go try to get it and it would probably lead to a bloodbath, and he was like completely like, no, it's not worth it, like just let me die. And not because he didn't want to live, he just did not want Katniss to risk her life. Like, he didn't think it was worth it, and oh my god, literally had to knock him out with sleep syrup. Dear Lord. He was literally willing to have her kill him when they realized they both couldn't make it in the first games, and she was like, no bitch, if you die, I die. It breaks my heart. Like, at the end where they realize, oh my god, the Capitol's lying to us, there can't be two victors, and he just automatically, no hesitation, like throws his weapon in the lake, I think, and it's just like, you just kill me. Like, I have nothing to go back to if you're not with me, blah blah blah. Obviously, that's rough because even if she's not in love with him at this point, like, who would want to freaking kill him, you know? Like, who would want to go back and for the rest of their life recount those memories and know that all of those things, like how he was like genuinely like trying to help her, and yes, she was kind of manipulative at this point because obviously she wasn't fully in love with him at this point. It was more of her trying to work the games with Haymitch and like do the love story aspect so people would sponsor them, but she still cared about him. I don't give a shit what y'all say. She still cared about him and did not want to freaking murder him. She came up with the berries thing, hoping that it would get them to stop, but they still freaking try to eat them. And oh my god, I am rambling like crazy. But next slide. Peeta's great moments continued. He was able to look past Katniss using him in the games even though it messed with his feelings. He knows she saved both of them. This is something that I feel like, I'm so rude, but I feel like Gale would not get past this because he literally didn't seem to be able to get past anything the whole series. When she came back from the first games, even though they had never dated or nothing, he had no claim on her whatsoever, he seemed like offended that she ever had a romance with Peeta in the games. And I just think that's so plain wrong. Like, what the frick? Like, you had no claim on her. She was trying to do what she had to do to keep herself alive and Peeta if she could, and I just think it's wrong. And we have Peeta over here, this kind little soul. He was able to realize what she had to do, and it's not because she didn't care about him at all. It's because they needed to stay alive, as Haymitch freaking says. He was tortured by the Capitol, hijacked, and was still able to warn District 13 that they were about to be bombed. This sacrifice saved their lives. He knew he would be tortured further. I don't think people give him enough credit for being able to snap out of the hijacking during that interview before District 13 was probably about to be bombed by the Capitol. He was able to warn them knowing that he'd be tortured. He'd already been tortured and it would just continue further. And he saved everybody's lives. My dad is here and is screaming. What the freak? He was still able to warn them even through all the freaking hardships he was probably about to go through because he did that. And the fact that he was able to snap out of it to begin with, like, oh my god, amazing. The boy freaking loved her since they were little. He remembered how she sang at school one day in her pigtails and said the birds went still like they always did for her father. I think this is the cutest thing, how he remembered how she sang in front of the school. The movie kind of makes it like creepy and stalkerish, but in the book it's just so cute. Like, he obviously had a crush on her throughout life. Like, it wasn't stalkerish. Oh my god, the movie made it so weird. But if you read the book, like, it's just adorable. He remembered, like, so freaking cute. Like, he's just such a soft boy. It's not funny. Even when Katniss and Peeta aren't on speaking terms, he still bakes goodies for her and her family because he is a little soft boy. Can we talk about that? If Gale was mad at her, no. He continued to like bake them goodies and like it's just like so freaking cute. I will say, like, my point is not very solid because I feel like Gale would still provide them food from his hunting, you know, but still, I don't know. I just feel like this is different. Peeta volunteers for Haymitch because he refuses to let Katniss go through the games again without him. He wants to be by her side and make sure she is safe. This honestly breaks my heart, how he felt like he needed to volunteer for Haymitch and go into the games again. Honestly, I feel like Katniss had a good chance of winning again. I don't know. Like, I know it was other victors and everything, but like, I just felt like Katniss could have done it. I don't think he had to do that, but he freaking loved her that much. He loved her that much, man. He just couldn't help himself. He murders his interviews and speaks about Katniss in a way that makes her desirable to the Capitol, which in turn helps her get sponsors and fans. I've already touched on this kind of before, but yes, he is very important with how he's the one that created the whole love story thing. It would not have freaking happened if he was not doing that shit. That whole thing, it got them sponsors. It literally got people to like them. It helped them through the rest of the games. So I definitely think that's like a super important thing to acknowledge, that he is just so good at getting people on his side and entertaining people. And no, he doesn't like them, but he knows how to use his words to make them, you know, be charmed by him. He planted primrose flowers outside of Katniss's house while she was grieving. How effing sweet is this? Obviously, spoilers in this video, you know how Prim dies in Mockingjay, and this is towards the last chapter, and when Peeta comes back home to District 12, Katniss finds him planting primrose flowers right by her house, and I just think that is the sweetest, kindest thing anyone could probably do in that situation. It's such a silent way of kindness, but I just think that is such a meaningful moment, and I can't get over that. And obviously, Gale and the bombs. And then we have Peeta over here being sweet with the roses, like, okay. Can we talk about how funny Book Peeta is? Honestly, this slide is chaotic because that is the title thing, but nothing else really has anything to do with it. This boy can make Katniss smile. She can kiss him for real whenever she starts to finally realize her feelings. Also, he is so sweet and understanding to her. He always understands. Like, literally, he's just willing to listen and, like, understand, like, why the actions she did. Like, literally, Gale was just a freaking boob all the time. He was just always mean, like, why are you, like, in a fake romance with Peeta? Like, how could you ever do that to me? It's like we were dating, like, weren't we? Y'all were never dating! Literally, it's like he only had interest in her as soon as someone else had interest in her. Just saying. Can we speak about the kiss and catching fire that was their first genuine one? You know, with the beautiful sunset shit. Oh my god. Literally, I got it right here. It's a GIF. I hope it works on the video, but that is my favorite freaking scene. At least one of them. Like, literally the cutest thing. If you're just watching the movie, you don't really realize that that's their first, like, fully genuine one where she's, like, fully into it. And you just gotta read the book, man. Like, come on. We must discuss Katniss's own feelings. She obviously loves Peeta. I know people are gonna attack me in the comments. You know, whatever. Do it. Just don't be mean. She had 2 whole sentences in Catching Fire talking about how pretty Peeta's eyelashes are. Who freaking does that if you're not feeling something? It may have started as a fake dating situation, but it turned into a friendship, a bond over a shared traumatic experience, and then a beautiful blossoming romance. That's how I look at it. It started off as a fake situation, but from that they had a shared experience with a lot of pain, and obviously they cared about each other, at least as friends, because, you know, that's just crazy shit to go through together. And then after that, they were able to freaking blossom and have a adorable romance, and I just don't understand how people don't see it. I see it, though. For everyone who thinks Peeta forced Katniss to have children, I have something to say. Every time Katniss said she never wanted kids in the series, it was always about how she never wanted to bring children to the world who would have to face the games. The bitch saved the world, so that was no longer an issue. And after a normal life with Peeta, I think it isn't that hard to understand why she then wanted to have kids in the future. It took many years, as the book described, but I just think that's completely realistic. And can we just think about how she has such maternal vibes, you know, with Rue and Prim and like freaking Wyrus, just anybody that seems to be like a weakling, she always takes them in and like just nourishes them, and like I just don't understand. Like I just feel like she'd be a great mom, legit. This passage says it all. I freaking brought in a quote. This is from Mockingjay, page 388, and it kills me every freaking time. Peeta and I grow back together. There are still moments when he clutches the back of a chair and hangs on until the flashbacks are over. I wake screaming from nightmares of mutts and lost children, but his arms are there to comfort me, and eventually his lips. On the night I feel that thing again, the hunger that overtook me on the beach. You know what I'm talking about? I know this would have happened anyway. That what I need to survive is not Gale's fire, kindled with rage and hatred. I have plenty of fire myself. What I need is the dandelion in the spring, the bright yellow that means rebirth instead of destruction, the promise that life can go on no matter how bad our losses, that it can be good again, and only Peeta can give me that. So after, when he whispers, "You love me, real or not real?" I tell him, real. Oh my freaking god. This is the last page before the epilogue, I believe, and it freaking murders me. If you don't remember the books, the whole thing with the dandelion that chokes me up is because if you remember when Katniss got the bread from Peeta, the next day she saw a dandelion in the spring and she realized she could go hunting. Like, it saved her whole family. They didn't freaking die, and the dandelion in the spring was her piece of hope. She saw that after looking at Peeta that day at school, I think. It just freaking chokes me up, and I just totally agree that she already has enough fire herself. She needed like a gentle spirit like Peeta that could help her after such terrible trauma. They both faced such terrible trauma, and Gale did too, but I just think they needed that freaking balance that they could give each other. Exhibit A. We have a whole picture here, a whole scene. Peeta's heart stops, and she literally freaks out so bad when she thinks she actually lost him. Finnick revives him with CPR. The look on Finnick's face says it all. He realizes for the first time that, oh damn, Katniss actually loves this bitch. Katniss almost murdered Finnick because she thought he was trying to hurt Peeta before she realized it was CPR. She was so panicked that she was in hysterics over the man. Literally, I feel like it was a big eye-opening moment when his heart stopped and she was just like freaking out. Like, Finnick realized that it was real. And like, I feel like we all realize it is real, okay? Like, come on. Exhibit B. Peeta being taken by the Capitol hit Katniss like a storm. She was not okay. She would have traded places in 0.2 seconds. Whenever everyone else, cough, cough, Gale was calling him a coward for being in those interviews, she just wouldn't accept it. She knows Peeta in a way no one else does. Seeing him in pain hurts her more than even herself fully realizes. She's distraught just like Finnick is over Annie. They tied knots together and talked for hours since they both knew how the other was feeling. It's something like even Finnick realized that the way Katniss feels about Peeta is just the same way he was feeling about Annie, and that's why Finnick and Katniss, at least in the book, had such a adorable friendship, because they understood how each other felt, and they would just sit there for hours together comforting one another. Exhibit C. Katniss and Peeta spend many nights sleeping in the same bed to help each other through the nightmares they both experience. Peeta was always there for her, and in the movie she even hallucinates him coming to comfort her from a scene in Catching Fire. She finds nothing weird about them spending nights together. I can't remember if she hallucinated that in the book as well, but there's definitely the scene where she's like having a nightmare and he comes in and she's like, "Stay with me," and he's phrase like always, and I know in young adult always is such an overused term, but in this sense it freaking chokes me up when he goes always. Like I just love how they just cuddle during the night just to like comfort one another. Nothing crazy is going on. Like a lot of people would think, they're just there to help each other, and that makes me feel things. Gale may be hot, but he is a booty hole. He is selfish when Katniss comes home after surviving the impossible. Cares more about the betrayal of her and Peeta being together than the fact that she went through something horrific. I'm just going off the scenes that we got. It seemed like every time they were together, he was more hurt about freaking Peeta being a thing with her than actually like comforting her and being like, oh my god, I cannot believe this happened to you, blah 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 blah. Like, how could he not just understand that she went through something so terrible and that was not what she needed in that moment? Must state the obvious, but you know, the bombs and the fact that he just never talks to her again. She needed her space, but to never talk to her again, and I know she kind of gave the vibe like we're never talking again, but even if someone did that to me, I feel like I would still try to reach out and continue to connect with them. Just me, but I just feel like that would be the right thing to do, even if someone like was like that. Like, give it a few years and try to reconnect or something, because they did have a really beautiful friendship. I will always give them that. I really wish Gale and her had only ever been completely platonic, because I really feel like that was the strong suit that they had. I feel like the love triangle thing was when things got messy, and then, I don't know, Gale just started going downhill for me. I never really liked him all that much anyways though, but I respected the friendship dynamic that they had for one another. Also, I will say the bombs thing, he did have the idea to create them. It is war, and like, it's a horrible, monstrous idea to have a bomb go off and then let the medics go in and then have it go again. Pretty terrible, but I get that it's war and he didn't intentionally freaking do it, but I can't fully wipe that away from the situation, just like Katniss probably never could either. He pretty much didn't give a shit about Finnick and told Katniss to keep going when there may have been a chance to help him for a second there. A stretch, but whatever. So this is definitely a stretch. I have just been freaking mad about Finnick's death forever, and I put the blame halfway on Gale because he just didn't give a shit. And like, I get it's war, like they needed to keep going, but he was like, Katniss, we're going, let's go, let's get up, like, come on. And I'm like, are you kidding? I definitely think the movie though, it looked like Finnick had more of a chance than he did, but when I just reread the book, like he was already like, had like stuff ripped out of his throat by the freaking mutt, so he didn't really have much of a chance left in the book. But in the movie, they made it seem like everybody freaking left him, and it upsets me to this day. Like, everybody left him, and come on. Are you kidding? And let's just be frank, there was never supposed to be a love triangle. I'm pretty sure it was confirmed somewhere that her publishers had her added in. If they had been purely platonic on both sides, things would have been so much better. So I don't know if this is officially confirmed that it wasn't supposed to be a love triangle and her publishers kind of convinced her to do it, but I've heard that go around for years, and I would not be surprised if that's true, because I feel like that was a really big trope back in the day, and I don't know, it just never really felt like they needed that dynamic whatsoever. I just really thought the friendship thing was good, and I didn't really want it to go further, you know? He did not give anyone a second chance. If they have ever been on the wrong side, he literally wanted to murder them all. We know from Katniss that this is a flawed mindset. And I say this because Katniss has met people in the Capitol who are not bad, like Cinna, and then, you know, she has her prep team and Effie, and obviously they are brainwashed and everything, but I don't think it's okay to just be like, let's murder everybody just because they're on the Capitol side. Like in District 2, when they were gonna bomb a whole bunch of the people that were still on the Capitol side, he was just so, like, he didn't seem to have any mercy whatsoever. He was just like, no, we need to bomb them, like, they're not on our side. And there is innocent people, I'm sure, in there. There's people that probably did not want to do that. And I think it's pretty terrible. And I know it's war. I know it's unrealistic to think that you don't have to murder a whole bunch of people. But he just seemed way too okay with it. And it always rubbed me the wrong way. And it rubbed Katniss the wrong way, as you can see in both the book and movie, I think. I just didn't like that. I didn't like how murderous he freaking was. I also think a lot of his stans out there have only seen the movies and just think Liam Hemsworth is hot. Not all the stans, but many of them. I had to put this point in there because I know there's a bunch of people that truly like love book Gale and movie Gale and everything, but I know there's a giant amount of people that just think Liam Hemsworth is hot. If you put Liam beside Josh, like, okay, Liam's probably gonna win on the attractive stance, and, you know, unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people are kind of shallow, and when it comes to movies, you just pick the person who's really attractive, and you know, I still think Josh is super attractive, but just me. Definitely not saying that's all people, but I also really think it's a factor for a lot of people, like cough cough my mom. She really thinks Liam's attractive, and even though she sees how much better Peeta is, sorry, even though she sees that, she's like, but he's so hot, and I'm like, come on, I hate when people do that. There is no connection between them other than friends, and he still wasn't even that great of a friend other than a hunting buddy. So I don't think he was the worst friend of all time, but I just think he had his moments where I'm just like, bitch, you need to go. Mostly because he was freaking jealous of Peeta. That was the times where I was just like, not okay. I just wish it was a platonic thing fully. There is one answer, and here it is. Look at it. Once again, I'm not trying to attack anybody. I'm just trying to be funny, and I'm freaking sweating. But yeah, in my mind, there's one answer. It's okay if you think differently, but like, Peeta stands unite in this video, okay? And that is it. Oh my god, I made it. 11 slides. Sweating to death, lots of points, lots of freaking enthusiasm. If you can't tell, I'm freaking screaming right now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I promise I'm not trying to attack anybody. Like, I am totally okay with you if you are a Gale stan, and if you don't like Peeta. I just personally am on the other end of that whole thing. We all love the books. I mean, I assume the people watching this video love the books, but we can peacefully be on different sides of the fandom. It's totally okay. No hate. Please don't give me hate. It's just my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like it, comment down below. Have a good day. Please subscribe. Make sure to follow all my social medias, which are linked down below, and go click the bell button, which is right by the subscribe button, which you should have already clicked, and goodbye.